It's hopping down there. They had free parking today, so that was a plus. So, I'm going to go over the MedCare care lift today, commonly known as. My name's Nick. I'm a manufacturer's rep from MedCare Prison Medical, the company that builds these. Going to walk through the hardware first. Then I'll kind of go through hooking it up and actually the procedure of transferring someone. So I'll start from the bottom and work my way up on the machine. So on the machine itself, you have the casters or the wheels. On the back we have the brakes. To lock, you just push down, it's engaged, and then to disengage, you just push the top of them. To spread the legs, open and closed, pretty simple. Left opens, right closes. Now working my way up, we have the back of the battery box. There's a couple buttons on here. On and off. You don't have to turn it off when it's not in use. You can just, simply leave it on. The battery's not going to drain. And then there's a switch here. This toggle switch is a backup to the hand control. So if the hand control gets run over, gets broken, gets pulled off, things like that, this switch right here will operate the lift. So hand control is very simple, up and down. It's got a magnet. Going over to the side here. This is the battery right here. I'm sure you guys have a space where you charge and can switch it out when needed. When you put the battery in, just slide it in. It's pretty simple. Sometimes people like to jam at home. They'll break the little tabs in there. So just be gentle with that part. For battery indicator, you're going to get a red light and an audible beep at 10%. So if you hear the lift beeping, it's just letting you know, hey, the battery's going to die, so go ahead and get it changed out when you can.
How long do they usually last?
That's the million-dollar question. So it depends on the weight capacity, and frequency of use. So generally out of a new battery at an average weight of 150 to 200 pounds, you should be able to get 50 ups and 50 downs, or 100 cycles. As the life of the battery gets extended, that's going to decrease just because every time you charge it, it's a little bit less. So should be seeing 2 to 3 years out of a battery before you have to replace it. And then at the end of the battery life, you should be getting still 25, 30 lifts at least. So, all right, moving over to the front of the lift. This is the actuator. This is the muscle of the lift. So what this does is, this actually does the heavy lifting. So all actuators are pretty much the same. The only difference is the emergency down on a lot of them. Now, on this model, the emergency down is right here. So if I'm going up and you lift someone up and for some reason it's just not your day, you change the battery, lift doesn't go down, hand control doesn't work, something's going on, and you have somebody up in the lift and you need to get them down, all you do is you flip this open and you turn this by hand, and it's going to slowly lower the patient down. Okay? So you're always going to have a way to get somebody off or out of the lift. You don't have to cut a sling or anything like that. When you're done, you can just go ahead and push this back. Yeah, when you open this, they won't just hit the deck, I promise. It'll be a controlled lower. You have to actually turn it. So the lift does have what's called an anti-crush feature or anti-pinch feature. So if you are going down and let's say the lift is on the wheelchair or in front of the patient and it goes on their hand or whatnot, it's just going to sit there. The actuator is not going to actually put any downforce on it, but always good to pay attention, but also good to know. Whenever you're moving the lift, I'm just as bad at this as most people. I want to grab the boom and just turn it and kind of work my way from here. The proper place to move the lift always is from the handlebar. What will have happen is if somebody is up in the lift, obviously you don't want to be pushing on the top heavy part. But even when you're just moving it around, if you do move the lift by the boom and there is too much play, you're going to start to get some wear and tear on the welds and the actual bolt right here. So if you want to, I'll try and stay in frame, sorry.
Okay.
If you want to move the lift, just always make sure you're using the handles. So we'll go up. Here is the hanger bars. Pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. It's 4-point hanger bars, auto leveling system. You can utilize these two for seated sling, and obviously you can use all three if you're doing a repositioning sling or whatnot from each side. And we'll kind of get into that here now. 600-pound lifting capacity. It says it on the boom on each side. Weight limit 600 pounds. It also says max 600-pound care lift. So, is there any questions on the lift itself? Pretty straightforward.
Is that leg spreading, you have to have those open when you're lifting a patient?
No, you do not. So this lift is stable in any position, whether it's open, closed, or whatnot. Especially if you got to go through a doorway or anything like that, you
Well, I
can.
meant just when you're lifting, is it stabilizing the machine?
Correct. This lift will lift 600 pounds with the legs open or closed. Again, move from here. Don't push on the boom. But yes, you are able to lift with the legs open or closed. What's kind of nice about this system is it's got a ratcheting leg system. So especially with these lower beds, if you can't be all the way open or all the way closed, you can just find that sweet spot with the legs, get it to where it needs to be, and then lift the person up. Because sometimes the wheels are in the way, or you'll have some equipment in the way or whatnot. So feel secured that as long as the resident or the patient is under 600 pounds, you're good to go. So,
They're here, they gotta be.
It's reindeer games,
Either that or they're 13 feet tall.
anything else? Pretty good? All right. Now we're going to kind of go through some slings. These you guys buy from a different company. I'm not familiar with exactly the color coding, but I'm sure you guys are well aware of blue, large, blacks, extra large, and the color
Actually,
coding.
we're not.
You're not?
No.
We're not
Okay.
familiar with it at all.
You're giving
kinda
us
introducing-
101.
Okay, okay. So generally, when you grab a sling, there should be a color associated with it, the size. So in this case, it's blue, and that says, the size is large. What I can do is I can talk to the safe patient handling board. They should have like a little printout that you can kind of put right here or something that'll just tell you the sizes and the color, so you don't have to remember.
Perfect.
Because what sometimes happens is these tags are great, they're legible at first. All of a sudden, you run them through the wash 60 times, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, I can't read that. I have no idea what size this is. So, what we have here is commonly known as a chair sling or a seated sling. Lico calls it the original Saul hog.
What?
That's a little, okay. Oh, high back sling, okay. That must be Swedish. A little insensitive. Okay, so what this does is pretty much goes like a standard sling would. Now, the basis of a sling is to get their butt here, get each leg strap underneath the legs. You go ahead and cross, you hook it up to the machine, and then you lift them up. So we'll start with this one. This is pretty much the most basic sling you're gonna find, and I'll try and run through a couple of these other ones. But in order to do this, I need a volunteer. And I know, whoa, I can only take one.
Okay, if you record, I'll do it. Oh, hey, Barb.
Okay, so I'm gonna. Do we have a wheelchair or any type of chair?
Yeah, we have wheelchairs. Those chairs. You want one of those chairs?
Those will work. Wheelchair would be a little more realistic, but those will work.
We've got some out here.
Oh, perfect.
She'll grab one.
And then what I'll do is I'll have you put me in this one. I can't find a medium.
Okay.
I'm gonna work better for a large, and I'll just kind of walk you through it.
Okay. He trusts me. No, please.
Thank you. All right. Now, I'll go ahead and sit down and bar the sling. I'll kind of walk you through this. Now, generally, a patient's not going to be able to completely move themselves around and help you get this sling on like I'm going to, Barb. So there are some kind of shortcuts and things that I'll show you. But if you go ahead and you just drape this with the collar out, yep, and you go ahead and you drape this down behind my back. And now what we're shooting for here is this bottom webbing to just go down to my belt as far as possible. You don't have to pull it underneath their butt. The lift is going to do that for you. Okay? So now when I'm putting the leg on, what I want to make sure is I want to make sure that there's the bottom webbing and the top webbing. I'm going to align this with their leg. I'm going to slide my hand underneath the leg. We'll kind of move you guys here. I'll slide my hand underneath the leg, and I want to grab the bottom webbing. Okay? Because what that does is it keeps it flat. Whereas if I go ahead and I grab the top webbing from underneath, it's going to turn and the patient's going to be a little pinched. So I'll grab the bottom webbing, pull it underneath, and I'm set here. Now, go back, make sure these are just over my shoulders, like so, and we're good to go. Now, can you bring the lift over? Perfect, thank you. This is general best practice, is to cross these while you're lifting. This does a couple things. One, it makes the patient feel a little bit more secure because it gives them kind of a barrier across in front of them. It also keeps their legs from spreading open, so it's a little bit more dignified. So if you want to bring the lift right over.
Straight on?
Yeah, straight on. Here, let's go to the side. Actually, I'll move me. Perfect.
You're a very helpful patient.
I know. If everyone could just throw a sling on themselves.
No, do I want these legs
Yep,
outside?
we'll go ahead and spread them open. The leg. There you go. You'll bring this up. And what I like to do is I like to just aim for the upper abdomen, lower chest. So this is perfect. And what I'm going to do now is, this is a very simple process with the 4-point hanger system.
Do I want to lock it here?
You don't have to, and here's why.
Okay.
Our manufacturer's recommendation is if you're on flat ground, you don't need to utilize the brakes. And when I get this sling hooked up and you start pushing the up button, you're going to see the lift move closer to me, and that's going to center its gravity over me. Now if I lock the brakes, what it would do is it would pull me out of the chair, and then I would have a swinging motion into the lift. So what I'll do is these are crossed, and I'm very simply going to go to the coinciding hooks, which the legs go to the hooks that are closest to the lift, and these go to the hooks up top. This is the part where you just have the patient give themselves a hug, and you can go ahead and hit the hand control and go up. And now right here is where you want to just visually make sure the patient is comfortable, and also be checking to make sure that your straps haven't gone awry on you. Because when you're in the heat of it, sometimes you'll get one that falls off. So.
Keep going?
Yep. Now at this point,
Are you scared?
You're a first-time user, so I'm a little worried here.
You should be.
No, this is
Going?
pretty standard. Yep, keep going until I'm all the way up. And as you see, the lift moves itself closer to me. I'm going to go ahead and be back in a reclined position, and you're good right there. And then you can go ahead and pull me away from the chair.
We'll have coffee.
Yeah.
Leave it hanging. Wow.
And
Oh, I want to get a book.
On a good day, I'm 205, so that's pretty easy to lift up a guy that's 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Again, and this is going to be the very same process for somebody who's 500 pounds. So just a little bigger sling. Fairly comfortable. There should be handles on the back of this sling. So if you want to turn me kind of this way, I'll kind of do it here. That's how you can, position someone if you need to get them sideways or turn them in another direction. You just grab the handles on the slings.
Okay.
So, if you want to put me on the bed, you can. If not, we can go right back to the chair.
How high can that thing lift?
Go ahead and go all the way up. Are
you scared now?
No, I feel pretty confident. It's a Lico sling, so I'm watching for stability. But
Yeah.
So just from
Oh, that
having
goes
the
pretty
back
high.
down by your belt line and then around your legs, that moved it.
That's it.
Further
pulled-
underneath your
that
butt.
pulled it underneath my butt. Yeah. And that's one of the common misconceptions with the slings is people try and jam them underneath and pull them through. With the skin integrity issues that you guys are going to see, especially for folks who have been in a bed for a little while, you're gonna have some tender skin under there. So just allowing the lift to do its thing is gonna help prevent skin tears.
We're gonna put you in bed.
Perfect.
I think you have to lower that bed though, Phyllis.
Yeah.
It's too high. Yeah, I think it is. There. Set up. And up on the floor. There's the whole machine.
So now when you're going to the bed, all you're looking to do is you're looking to put the butt where you want it in bed, because that's where I'm going to stay. So it's kind of the lowest point of aim. So Barb, if you go ahead and just keep going and just kind of aim for where you want me to be laying with my backside. I'll lift my legs up here. And then go a little bit farther if you can.
Am I hung up on something on that side?
Narrow your legs a little bit.
No, yeah, there's a,
oh,
up on your wheels to the left.
There you
go.
There you go.
Okay, perfect.
There.
Now you can go ahead and go down. And this lift, as soon as I get to the bed, I'm going to start laying down. So my legs are here, my back is here, and if I'm not supporting my head, or I'm not supporting my body at all, I just go ahead and the lift actually weights me down. So we'll take this off real quick, and I will demonstrate briefly on how to do this from a reverse angle. Now, you have somebody laying in bed. How do you get them up? How do you get them into a wheelchair? You do the exact same thing, just backwards, and here's how you put the sling on. You'll have a person who'll be laying in bed. You're going to want to have one side of your guard up. You will go ahead and have them, just do the knee bend up like so, turn their hips, and then have their shoulders halfway. Okay? Now, once you get them to the halfway point, what you're going to do is take the sling, fold it in half backwards, set it next to them. You guys have extra skinny beds, so this will be a dance for the first few times. And you just want to tuck the sling underneath them to a point where you can grab it from the other side and pull it through. Now, you'll find you can fold the sling a few different ways. You can fold it over the front way. You can bunch it up like so and just kind of tuck it to their side. Whichever works for you is fine. There's really no wrong way to fold the sling and kind of slide it underneath. But then once you have it underneath them, roll it back, pull the other side out, and hook up the exact same way that you would for a chair sling. Any questions on that? Pretty straightforward.
Does everybody know where this is kept? So if you go over to the hospital and go through security, they'll let you through the door. You take a left down that first hallway. It's like the first opening where there is no door, and it's off to the right-hand side.
Do we have
Okay.
to let the PCC or someone know that we're taking it?
There's a board there that
Oh.
says where it is.
Oh.
So like this morning when I went and signed it out, I signed it out to the ASC. So that if they're looking for it, they know where, they
And
know
if
where
it's
to go.
not there for some reason,
It should say on the board where it
where it
is,
is, there's only one at the hospital?
that I know of,
So this is the hospitals?
yes.
Hmm.
We will so rarely use it, which is why we have Nick here today. They used it in Endo not too long ago. And thought it would be valuable to have Nick come out and give us a good idea of how to do it. So they'll have the opportunity to view this.
Do you guys have a lot of folks coming through?
No,
Not supposed to.
Okay.
we don't, and that's why we don't own one. That's why we rarely use it.
And
But
that's,
the opportunity could present itself where we may need it.
and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's coming. General census in hospitals, especially PACU and some other of the ICUs, is folks are generally starting to creep up north of 250 and 300. On some cases, it's on average. We're in Minneapolis, fairly healthy city. That helps. I cover the nation. Places like Iowa, some of the rural areas down south, they're having 350 averages come through their door. So the census is increasing. So the more familiar you are with this equipment, the better off you're going to be throughout the career. There are some tricks. So if you have somebody who is 350 pounds, they keep sliding down the bed, you can use this to boost a person with a repositioning sling and things like that. And I can come back up and show you. I don't really have the sling here. Okay, are you familiar with the slide sheets? Okay, so there is a sling called the repositioning sling. Every manufacturer makes them, so if you buy from Leco, Leco will have it. And it's just a bed sheet. And what that is it's a bed sheet with a couple hooks on the end, just like you see here. And you can hook 2, 3, 4 of them up and actually pick a person up, keep them in the supine position, and put them to another stretcher. Or you can just hook the top 2 up, lift their upper torso up, and it boosts them. So you don't have to be grabbing somebody and physically hurting yourself, throwing your back out, your shoulder, things like that. That's what the lift's for. So as patient census and their weight increases, be sure to rely on these things. So I'm going to leave some of this with you guys. Maybe you can stick it in a file or something, but what it is it's just a quick guide. This one is actually on the lift. It is a horrific 1982 sketch of how to put somebody in a sling, but it gives you the basics, and it really does tell you everything you need to know. The artistry leaves something to desire. But this is kind of a PDF that's on our website. This is a link, or it has a link to all of our videos, all of our training videos. So if you're thinking, in an hour, 2 hours, 5 days, 6 weeks from now, you say, I don't remember exactly how to do this. Go ahead and stop by our website. It's medcarelifts.com. It's on the lift. And then it'll have a link to all of our kind of refresher videos and stuff like that. So. Is there anything off the top you guys are wondering? Questions, concerns, things like that?
Not that we'd use it here, but for like a bariatric point of view, is there a bigger one? Or bigger?
Yeah, they go in the ceiling. They're called ceiling lifts. Here's the thing. Some manufacturers make floor lifts to 8, 7, 8, 900 pounds. When you start to get to that capacity, the push-pull force starts to become so great it's actually counterproductive. So yes, you're not lifting them up, but you still have to, I think it's like 85 pounds for a 700-pound person that you have to push force on. Now that varies with floor, caster type, things like that, but we're starting to see lifts that are motorized floor lifts, which again, that's an option, but generally when you start to get above the 600-pound range, or in some of the more acute settings, you'll see the ceiling lifts where they actually put the track in the roof and then put the motor in and utilize that. So Down at Mayo, we just had I'm not supposed to say their name, a large healthcare organization in Rochester. We had a, I'm on video, I'm sorry, man. We had a 984-pound gentleman who we put up in the ceiling lift and utilized. And when you see someone like that come through a healthcare organization, what you generally see right behind it is nurse injuries. So that person will come through, and whether it's, you know, ER, surgery, PACU.
How much did he weigh?
984. And there was some enablers there that were there to visit. I mean, it did the.
There has to be.
Yeah, it took a village. And we have a weight capacity on our ceiling lift of 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to be there, and I got a phone call from MedSurg saying, "Hey, we got a guy up here that's huge. You need to come up here. We don't know if your lift can take it." We did his weight. He was at 984 when he came in. We're like, okay, let's give it a go, and it worked out great. But
Did you hold your breath?
you know, you really do, because you can't prepare yourself for that much of a human being, and as respectful as I can be, it was just a lot of human being there, and the motor's not huge, so it was like, okay, well, this is the first time I've ever seen anything like that. But what was good about it is, because the equipment was there were 0 injuries when this gentleman went through and then left. So, and that's what we kind of pride ourselves on. That's what we want to do. So, if at any point in time you guys want another in-service, you have a question, industry, something like that, give me a call anytime, Barb.
Okay.
I now know where you are, and I'll be happy to come back up.
Perfect.
So, thank you for your time.
Awesome.
Apologize
Thanks
I
for
was
coming
late.
out, Nick.
Absolutely.